next question in the frequently asked questions is, I was released on conditions that I can't have contact with my spouse or my children. Do I have to follow these conditions? How long do these conditions last? So there's two questions there. I've been released on conditions. Do I have to follow the conditions? Well, the conditions are either by a police officer or a court, but they act in the same way. You are required in law to comply with those conditions, and violating those conditions is violating the conditions, breaching them, is a criminal offense, and you can end up with a separate criminal record. Even if the substantive charge, even if the original charge is dropped or you're acquitted in court, you can end up convicted and end up with a criminal record for not following the conditions. Think of it as a court order. Okay, if you're ordered by the court to do something, you cannot violate that court order. Well, conditions act like a court order. If you are found to have breached the conditions by contacting your spouse or your children, then you end up facing potentially a charge of breaching those conditions, and you can end up with a criminal record for it. A lot of people think, I can contact them, nobody's going to report me, I can get away with it, it should be fine. It's amazing how often in those circumstances people end up charged with the offense because something changes down the road. It can be months and months later that the police find out about it, and you can end up charged with breaching those conditions. The next question is, how long do these conditions last? Well, the conditions last until the first appearance, and then they continue. And unless they are changed by the court or your matter is resolved in court, those conditions stay in place. So you should just operate under the assumption that you are bound by those conditions until such time as the matter has been dealt with in court, you've had a trial, and the matter has been disposed of with either you've been found not guilty or you've been convicted and then sentenced, or the matter has been dropped or withdrawn, at which point the conditions no longer apply, or the conditions have been varied by the court. And that is something that you can discuss with your lawyer if you're bound by those conditions. So the very short answer is abide by the conditions, and then you won't be in any trouble. If you have been released on conditions of any sort, you can give us a call and we can talk about the conditions that you've got and whether or not we can change them in the meantime. Do not violate your conditions, because that is going to make you look like a person who just does not respect the court at all.